To TinuShow. I'm Tinu Odunuga, and this is a talk show that focuses on tomorrow's brighter Africa. I do believe that we, the diaspora, we have acquired enough, and this is the time for us to work together, join hands, to help our country, to develop and rebuild our people. With me this evening, I've got a wonderful gentleman, His Excellency. I'm so honored to be in his mix, His Excellency, Ambassador Benedict Onoichi Amobi. I welcome you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Ambassador, could you please introduce yourself?
Well, you've done that very, very beautifully, I must say.
Thank you, sir.
Ambassador Amobi, I'm a career ambassador. Okay. Been in the service for about 34 years.
Oh, wow.
Served in many missions, okay. Both also at headquarters. We do about 4 years on and 4 years off.
Okay.
Yes. And I've been ambassador here to the Nordic countries, four countries I cover for about 2.5 years now.
Excellent.
Yes. But we're based here in Stockholm. Thank you very much.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. You're doing a great job, and I so commend you for all your efforts, all the good works you're doing, all your hard works. We can see that. And can I just ask that what factors are the burner towards strengthening Nigeria-Swedish relationship?
Well, quite a few. You know, one of the best ways of encouraging investment is to actually carry out business forums, high-level visits led by ministers. We've had Minister Ganga, fantastic minister, trade and investment industry. He paid almost a 4 or 5 day visit to Finland and Sweden. And he came along with about a group of 24 to 25 Nigerian businessmen and entrepreneurs. And through that you engage your business counterparts here. Also, we've had the Minister of Power, Minister of State for Power. He's visited here. We also have the Nordic African Foreign Ministers meeting, which takes place every year. All these are forums whereby we can strengthen our relationship with our Nordic friends. We also encourage return visits as well. Some of these visits
to strengthen it.
Of course, it stimulates interest in Nigeria.
That's great.
What is the business environment? What are the potentials? What are the opportunities in Nigeria? And also for that, there's a depth of information here about the reality in Nigeria.
Great.
And it's getting across that reality. So I attend every single forum or summit, whether I'm invited or not, to try and give the positive new narrative about Africa and about Nigeria.
That's wonderful.
Absolutely.
Because
so
people can, you're more like that. You bridge, like you're that. You bridge the gap between Sweden and Nigeria.
It is.
In a positive way.
You need to get the information out there. There is quite a bit of negative information.
I know.
So what our duty is to get the positive aspect.
Because there are positive ways. There are positive things happening.
The fundamentals, the economic fundamentals of Nigeria. We've got a current account surplus. We've got $45 billion in reserves. We were doing. Inflation has come down to single digits. We were having growth rates of about 6-7% every year. And of course, the blue chip companies that you have, Cadbury's, Nestle's, SAB Miller, Diageo, they are all expanding or investing in Nigeria.
That's true, they are there.
So what we need to do is to get that message to our Nordic friends, that these are the possibilities, these are the opportunities.
So that it's your duty to get it across to them.
Of course it is.
Otherwise they won't know what's happening.
They won't know.
That's great. So can I just, that will take me to just finding out that what constrictions are there in for just any constrictions at all to
obviously
in the foreign direct investment flow?
Yeah, definitely you will have certain constrictions because there are certain challenges on the ground. For example, what we keep hearing from our people here, investors, is that what's happening with the power situation. Of course, for any dynamic industrial development, you need power. Now, we tell them that although we have that constraint, 5,000 megawatts, 6,000 megawatts, is the President's program, which has been put in. It was initiated about 12 years ago, but the driving force has been with the current President. And we have finally privatized and deregulated the electricity sector. So now we expect with this privatization, the dynamic exponential growth that we had in the telecommunication. You remember when we privatized telecommunication? It went from 225,000 fixed lines to 110 million lines. Also data.
So sort of privatization really makes things
absolutely
greater.
Because you cut out certain excesses. Once the private sector come in, you give them a market-related price for electricity. Because it cannot be free. And it's difficult to subsidize some of these things. But once you have a market-related price, investors can come in and they can make money. And they will increase capacity. So insofar as you are distributing your electricity, the money is flowing into the coffers, the companies will expand their production. So this is very likely that we're going to have a very increased improvement in electricity production in the country.
So that will not be a constriction anymore?
It will not be.
That will make the foreign direct flow investment flow easy.
It will indeed. And I tell investors that despite some of these constraints,
they can still make it.
You can still make it.
They can cut across.
Absolutely. UNCTAD has named Nigeria one of the highest returns for your money.
Wow, that's great.
UNCTAD, and that's the United Nations organization.
Oh, excellent.
You can make 35% returns in Nigeria.
Oh.
And it has not stopped the blue chip companies from Britain, from Germany, from France, stepping into the Nigerian market. So we want our Nordic friends to also step in.
Yes. To know that there's something like that. Course. That's great. So I would just say that what scholarships are there for teaming Nigerian students?
Well, this is one of the issues we have with our Nordic friends. You see, the past historical relationship with our Nordic friends has always been more in favor of East and Southern Africa. They've engaged them over the years. They've gone for safaris. We've had a developed tourist industry there, so they tend to go there. They were active during the liberation movement in South Africa. So somehow, and their aid has been skewed towards East and Southern Africa. They don't seem to look at West Africa or Central Africa.
Why is that?
That's because of what I've just said, that they traditionally have looked only to East and Southern Africa.
That needs to change now.
It needs to. This is what we're trying to do, and to try and market and say, look, it's not just about giving some aid, and all their aid is focused towards East and Southern Africa.
That's true, that's true.
They don't give aid to Nigeria. Neither do they give any scholarships to Nigeria. All the scholarships, I think there are 166. All of them are to the East and the Southern African countries.
So when they start doing that, that will improve and change a lot.
If you would extend, as we tell our friends, our Nordic friends, you see, it's not just if you're giving scholarship to Nigerians, it doesn't end as if it's just a tip. What happens is that relationships are created. When our Nigerians complete their education, they go back, they may find themselves in a position where they can influence one contract or the other, or they need to buy goods and services. Usually you look back to the country where you were trained.
That's true.
So they're losing that. This is what the countries like the United Kingdom and France and America are benefiting. They do extend some scholarships. They may not be that much. And they benefit from that relationship whereby they're extending education to Nigerians. So they invariably are benefiting when Nigerians come back and continue that trade relationship with Britain or America. They gain, and they are losing this from the Nordic countries. Again, the dynamism, the dynamic growth are from markets like Nigeria. 170 million. What the West needs, these Western countries that are slowing down in their growth rates, they need markets.
They need that interconnectivity between them and Nigeria.
Exactly. They need markets to sell their products. And the markets are in Nigeria. The markets are in West Africa. Yes.
They need to see
they
that
need to. If you don't go there, where is the growth going to come from?
That's true. That's excellent.
Yeah.
And would you say that is there any area or areas where you would like, or specific areas where we in the diaspora can come in to make a difference in Nigeria?
Absolutely.
What would you like to tell people?
I mean, look, if you just look at President Jonathan's cabinet, you'll see quite a few people who are brought back from the diaspora. Some of them that are making fantastic inputs, tremendous inputs, are people from the diaspora.
That's true.
Shegun Gangan, the Minister of Trade, former Goldman Sachs, fantastic marketer of Nigeria.
Excellent.
Eloquent, capable, dynamic.
So from here,
yes, went back and is doing a fantastic job. And they will be the Minister for Agriculture. In that regard also, fantastic job he's doing unlocking the potentials in agriculture, opening it up to the private sector. He's doing a fantastic job. I think Madam Johnson, the Minister of Communications, is equally driving fantastic change in the ITC sector. Of course, I mean, how will I even complete without mentioning wonderful Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, our coordinating Minister of the Economy. Fantastic job she's doing. She is responsible, under the direction of President Jonathan, to have brought back this fiscal stability within the country. Your economic fundamentals that are very strong. Part of it is a consequence of her financial management of the economy. So she is also from the diaspora, you can say. And then, of course, all of you who are abroad, who are earners, do you know Nigerians send between $10 and $15 billion every year back to loved ones or to businesses?
Oh yeah, I heard of that.
Absolutely.
So why
all of you are drivers. That is going into businesses, is going into homes, for parents, for brothers, for scholarships, for school fees. That is what you are doing. The skills you've acquired after years in the UK and the rest.
I am here with a very eloquent, wonderful woman, well-empowered woman, the great Excellency, Mrs. Viola Adaku Omri, Professor, Her Excellency. You're welcome, Madam.
My name is Professor Mrs. Viola Adaku Omri. I'm the Honorable Minister in charge of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. I'm a professor of medical biochemistry, turned politician, and now I am an honorable minister, and I thank God for this appointment, and thank my president, His Excellency President Goodluck Jonathan, also for finding me worthy to serve my country at this level. So I thank you, my dear sister, for this show, and like you said, it's gratifying to note that people are thinking the way you're thinking, where the diasporans are invited to come and impact positively on their country, on our country. I think it's really time, it's apt, and indeed, you diasporans are doing that. It's just that as the days go by, you continue to need the diasporans more and more to get involved, whether they come home to live in Nigeria or they're imparting from wherever they are in the international community. The important thing is to have the spirit of helping, coming to be part of it, remembering home, remembering where you're coming from. I think that is very, very important. And whatever little contributions you can make in terms of empowering people, the rural population, students who are going to school, you want to pay their school fees, you want to grant them scholarships, whatever little thing you can afford, you want to empower women who who are going to the farms or who are selling farm produce and all that. What little drops they say fill the ocean. Whatever anybody can do can help your family back home in Nigeria. And when you empower them, they begin to do stuff for themselves. That would also reduce pressure on you on what they ask of you to do each time. And I think you've introduced it very well.
Excellent.
And, I'm happy to be here.
Thank you very much, man. You really said it all. Can you explain to people when they talk about natural? We've got, we're wealthy with natural and human resources in Nigeria. Nigerians are so receptive. They're well endowed. They're academically stable. But these resources we have, they're thinking, how can these resources, how can the less privileged tap into our resources? How can they turn their lives around? For instance, let's say agricultural sector. What would you say?
Yes. Well, Nigeria is a country of over 167 million people, and so the challenges are also huge, as many as people are, and more than any country that has less number of people. So we must also appreciate that. And with diverse ethnic nationalities, but we're trying to continue to be a united front, and a whole lot is happening. In the area of agriculture that you just mentioned, there's this agricultural transformation agenda that Mr. President is pursuing, and is working well for us. Recently, Nigeria banned rice, importation of rice, and within the year we've produced over 1 million metric tons of rice. It has never happened before. We are doing a whole lot in different sectors. Farmers are being encouraged to do a lot of things, to grow crops in different environments. They are bought and they encourage. In short, agriculture now is seen as business, not as welfare service as before. And so it's encouraging young people to come into it. It's helping us to mop up youth unemployment and women unemployment, and for people also making money through it for business. Recently too, government has gotten engaged with the aviation ministry to export perishable items, crops. And that one is also going to help us a great deal, where items, food crops that are perishable will not be just left to rot away, but they are exported so that people can still make money from them. So a lot is happening in that direction with even the Ministry of Water Resources. They are collaborating to ensure that it happens. And even beyond agriculture and water resources, the dams that have been used to water crops in the north, now there's a plan to do hydroelectricity, generate electricity, small hydroelectricity things through all those dams. So you see that in different areas, in the area of infrastructure, Mr. President has done very well, a whole lot of road networks, railways that have not worked for decades. Now some of the Lagos Kano is functional, the Maiduguri through Port Harcourt and all that. Going to the south also is almost nearing completion, and many the east-west and so on and so forth. So that is government is seized with maritime studies and issue of maritime waterways, of course the aviation sector, the roads, different road networks across the country to link up different parts of the country. The Minister of Works and his Minister of State, they've worked very hard in the area of improving and increasing our road networks. Very importantly, we're talking about the wealth of the country. Nigeria is very much endowed by the special grace of God with minerals, solid minerals and petroleum products. In the area of solid minerals, we just approved a solid mineral policy. And the Minister of course, the Ministry of Mines and the Ministry of Steel, Mines and Steel is working very hard, and a whole lot is happening in that sector. In the area of petroleum, there's a petroleum industrial bill in front of the National Assembly, the PIB bill, in front of the National Assembly now. They're going over it. But very importantly, you would remember that last year, government withdrew part of the subsidy on petroleum products, and because government felt that Nigeria is not feeling the impact of subsidizing fuel, since the subsidized fuel was also being used mainly by international, multinational groups who are supposed to pay, but government is subsidizing for them and still giving them contracts. Also, smugglers who smuggle most of the fuel across the borders to neighboring countries and or elsewhere. We now felt that Nigerians needed to have a direct impact of that money. So part of the subsidy was withdrawn and then converted or put into a program called the Shore P. subsidy reinvestment program.
Okay.
And that is working for us. The Shopee, the money from petroleum is used for, again, infrastructure, is used for health, the safety network program, safety nets programs, is used for unemployment, different cadres of youth, young people and Nigerians. For instance, there's a rural engagement program under the Shopee, where people in their homes in the rural areas who are not university graduates are also paid so that they can maintain rural roads, so that they can go to the farms, they can maintain rural markets, do small works in the community and still live in the community. One, they make a living staying in the house. Two, it reduces rural to urban drift, which has caused us a lot of manpower problem in the rural areas. They can also remain there and do farming and still get their farm products, but they are paid by government to be there to do the rural works. They are doing other things. They are also helping to secure the environment and look after the aged ones in the community. So that while some of us, and indeed some of you are out there, your aged parents are not abandoned by your relations at home. So those of them that are engaged by Shopee are at home, doing other things, looking after the people at home.
Or go for small scale.
Oh, definitely. The small scale thing, the SMEDAN, we had in DG SMEDAN today, the Small Medium Enterprises Development Agency, set up by government, has been empowered by the president to do a lot of rural investment drive
and
programs.
There's an agency that
that's the DG that is here with us. So they have floated many rural programs.
That's good.
Rural enterprise program. They train people and empower them. Recently, they've trained even some skilled people, mechanics, fabricators, and so on and so forth. People train them in agriculture, how to manage their small businesses, so that when you give them money, they can manage the money and be able to, make profit by teaching them how to manage businesses. So, and there are definite programs for women too. For instance, there's also a you-win program, youth, program like that. The first one is for the youth. The second one, the president decided that it has to be for women. So there's a you-win project for women, program for women, where young people apply. They are trained in entrepreneurship, and then government give them grant.
Even they repay that later?
Yes. Even when the other time, some days ago, when they were launching the third phase of the UN, one lady came in to talk about how the training helped her to, turn around her life and her business. That though she didn't get the government grant, but what she learned from
was enough.
Yes, was enough to help her to improve the management of her business, and now she's doing very well. So she expressed her gratitude for even getting the training.
So it's not just about money.
Yes, it wasn't just about money, it's about capacity building.
Capacity building.
Yes.
Everyone is talented.
That's right. Like in the area of agriculture that you mentioned, there's this agro-entrepreneur program for young graduates to embrace agriculture and make money through agriculture after they have been trained by government. You can't pay for this training programs.
There's so many.
There's so many of them in Nigeria.
You wouldn't know what's going on.
I know.
In the system.
Even in the area of security,
you
that people
have.
Yes, people have maligned Nigeria about. Even in the area of security, Nigeria has 36 states, and Nigeria also, those 36 states are grouped into 6 zones.
Okay.
The Boko Haram problem is only in the northeast zone,
so we're going to come back to that later.
1 out of 6.
So can I cut you?
Yes, you can.
You're so much ahead of me. Sorry, I think in 100 years to come, I can have half of your brain. I'm sorry to cut you. I'm just going to go back to, like you were just on and everything. Oh my God. Oh, no,
because there's so much, that is going on.
I thought I'm intelligent. Oh gosh, sorry to interrupt you. I'm just going to talk about something to do with what's it called again? Petroleum. No, we're talking about
reforms in the federal sector.
Yeah, but before this subsidy, what's going on with the refinery? Hasn't Nigeria got a refinery?
Yes, we have refineries. In fact,
if we have that, it will reduce a lot of costs, and there won't be any. There won't even be anything to do with people smuggling, petrol all over the place. Because I think 49 or 60% of our, revenue comes from petrol. So we're so endowed with that, and we can change so many departments. Like health sector needs revamping. We could do that if we've got enough money from petroleum. So what are we going to do about that?
No, we are doing very well, because actually it's the petroleum that is driving every project in Nigeria today. even the money that the Ministry of Finance, sets aside every month, what we call the federal allocation, the FAC. State governors come every month to share from the monies from the Ministry of Finance for the federal allocation that goes to the state. It's also from petroleum. So that is already coming from petroleum, because at some point it became like a mono economy. So that's why the president is saying we must diversify from just petroleum to agriculture to different sectors. All sectors that can make money we are now looking at, and it's working. So what the subsidy thing has done is just to add to what ordinarily the petroleum thing
we're getting extra from that.
That's right. And in terms of refineries, yes, part of what the shopping money is also doing is to help us rehabilitate our refineries. We have refineries, but of course many of them are not functioning at high capacity, and that is not good enough.